If you click this video, you may be aware of what n8n is, maybe not. If you aren't, I will explain you what n8n is in one sentence. It's an online platform that lets you connect tools together and create automation workflows and AI agents. The potential with n8n is huge. You can basically build anything, connect anything together, process anything, and get almost any result you want online. Any task that you have been doing yourself can be streamlined and automated, which creates unprecedented possibilities. Now, there's another tool that is not an automation builder. It's actually a software web development builder. If you haven't heard about it yet, welcome to the 21st century. This is an app called Lovable. Lovable is a hugely successful app, if you ask me. They have enabled the ability to create apps just by prompts. You're typing an interface and you're building and seeing your visions come to life. Personally, I've built 10 and more websites, 5 of which are live, and even our main website at frama.com, our AI agency, is built with Lovable. You are able to update it in real time. You can add anything from an infographic to an image. You can add a field. You can add a blog. You can connect everything. The level of creativity compared to a static website, it is incomparable. Now, what happens if you connect these two amazing paradigms together? n8n on one hand and Lovable on the other. Well, what you get is a supreme system of front-end, back-end, and automation data processing workflows that can connect any tool, that can create slick front ends, and you can build anything. You can copy other people's apps, build your twist on it, and go viral. You can create apps that solve problems that can make you thousands of dollars a month. But the possibility with n8n and Lovable has not been explored. And that's what I'm going to do in this video. I will show you the app I made that is fully functional. It is an app that almost anyone can use, solves a big problem for many people. And it even has payments, Stripe integrated, so people can now pay, and it's supposed to be a revenue driver for me. So I'm going to share that app in this video. Follow along till the end of this video because I will giving you some tips about n8n and Lovable. I will share some of my top strategic tips when it comes to using these tools, and I will also be giving you the details of how you can build a Lovable n8n app yourself. So let's get straight into the video. So here it is, guys, the app that I have made with Lovable called Viral Video Clipper. As you guys can see here in the domain, it's a Lovable app, and I'm showing you guys straight from the domain, not from the website builder. We may go back there to show you some of this stuff, but here it is fully created, fully made on the front end. And you can basically see the whole purpose of this app. So what is it? It's a viral video clipper. So basically, it is an app that lets you transform YouTube videos into viral clips automatically. You add a YouTube link here in that field, and you can define the amount of clips you want the back-end n8n workflow to create, which I will show you. And you basically tell the n8n workflow through this button to initiate the webhook and the workflow, and to create the process, the rendering process, and giving the result back in the same webhook. So as you can see, guys, I've completed a lot of videos just to show you guys that I did with this tool. We can see the result here. That was not a good example, but let's show you guys this one here better, because the clipping was a bit bad.
The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Israel, do not drop those bombs. Bro, what universe are we living in? If you do, it's a major...
So yeah, I took a random video clip from YouTube. It was a random political one, and it doesn't matter. But as you guys can see, it is clipping the videos. It is adding the text. It is formatting the freaking video in a very good way. You have that person there, which actually is a small bottom left corner. It takes the top and it's choosing sort of the right clips to show in the different situations. And this is AI. AI is doing that behind the scenes. Imagine growing your Twitter account on autopilot. No writing, no checking, not opening the app, not even touching your phone. Growing your account without you lifting a finger. That's what this Twitter AI automation will do for you. Now, we will go through the entire app in the background once I show you the n8n flow, but here you guys have an understanding of the app here. So yeah, this is sort of the front end of the app. We have had in the integration of the billing, basically users can add credits so that they can process the work they're rendering. Each rendering and each video costs $1. And you add credits here by pressing the button, which connects to Stripe. So let's see here. There we go. Stripe put up $10. Okay, so that's how it works, right, guys? So let me show you how I built it, right? So we're gonna go into that right now. Here is the one and only simple n8n workflow that we have for this entire freaking app. Now, what you have to understand with n8n is that n8n has a sort of a parallel processing feature. Now that means that 10 people can press the button at a time, and it will create a separate execution environment, right? And that's really helpful for you. So I will show you guys here an execution that we had, and I will explain you node for node how I built this. So we're using the webhook here, and the webhook is of course what you have to define here in your node, right? You have to add the webhook and you have to get the production URL. Once you have the production URL, you have to give that to Lovable. And what you tell Lovable is that you tell it that here is the webhook and you need to send the following parameters, right? So when we go here, what you tell it is that it needs to have the YouTube video link to be able to process the shorts that it makes, the viral clip, and the number of clips. That's actually everything it needs to send through this one webhook. Now it sends that information via the webhook, and it also creates a bit more information that will be needed to identify each rendering, each process, right? So I will show you here what is actually being sent here. It is a link. It's the number of videos that is needed. It's a timestamp. It's a user ID and a render ID, which Lovable creates for you. And you have the callback URL for your Supabase project to be able to communicate with it. Unfortunately, I can't disclose this callback URL to you guys because then you can start interacting with my backend. But that is what you need as the parameters here. And that is what is being sent. And as you can see, guys, this is what was sent here. And this tool is Clap.app. And I will show you guys what that is. Clap.app is an app basically that lets you make viral shorts, right? So you can log in, you can get API key, you can configure the docs as is, and you can basically create your own access point via the API with this, right? So let's go back into the n8n and show you. So we have the analyzed video here. It's a post HTTP request with this following link that is sent to Clap to create and analyze the video. And it's sending this JSON file, which is needed to define what we want. We can check the docs, but basically it is taking the URL, the number of videos, and some other parameters needed, and the duration. Then it sends that to the next node. The next node takes that ID of the analyzed video and gets the status. And we see that the status of that video was ready. And there's 9 items that gets sent to a switch node. What is this switch node? This switch node basically defines whether or not the video was sort of analyzed, finished to be analyzed. If it wasn't finished, it goes back to get the status. If it updates the status, it will go to the next process of the workflow. If it gets an error, we send that to the webhook so that our front end here will understand that there was an error and update that status. Now you have to prompt Lovable and communicate this. It's not as easy as it sounds. Of course, it just takes a few minutes to prompt that, but I'm giving you all the logic here, right? And so next, is the creating the short idea. So you get the output ID here, and that will give you the short. It will create a short and the high resolution here, which you take. Again, you need to define the correct link to get a high resolution output of that short that has been made. And you define the right link and you get that. And finally, last thing, you have it finished exported. So that's what happens. And once it's actually ready, fully 100% ready, uploaded to the link necessary to be sent to Webhook, we then send that to the Webhook. And the Webhook parameter here is defined with an extra JSON response so that we can give the render ID, which is what we define here, and that's very important. Now I will tell you why. In our app here, we are sending a video and we are uploading it, right? And once we upload it, it needs to be updated. It will process and it will wait for the webhook to respond to give the actual short in return. And then we need that ID to be able to identify that, okay, this webhook inbound request or outbound or whatever is actually an update to that one. That's why we need that render ID to communicate that with the webhook with Lovable. So that is how it works, guys. Now I gave you guys a basically small rundown on this, but we will talk about why and how you can build other apps with Webhook and with Lovable. So let's jump into that right now. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna now define the exact steps that I used to make this app here on Lovable. All right, Lovable and n8n. So let's just make the title here, Lovable x n8n. What you need to start, right? So to start, you need to start with an idea, right? Idea. And this idea needs to be sort of straightforward because we can't build like fully fledged softwares. You can, but that will take too much time. And you know, Lovable and n8n is sort of in this experimentation phase right now. So you have to limit the app you have to a specific idea, a one automation workflow that will work sort of streamlined. Now, I will give you an example that's not the app I've made. The example that is a blog creator, right? Let's do that as the example. So in order to be able to have a blog creator that basically you prompt something, you get a blog out of it, and it uses an AI agent in your n8n as that blog creator, right? Let's say that's the app we make. So let's have that idea here. Idea is a customized AI agent blog creator, right? So we want to build a front end here. So you have maybe many workflows, right? Maybe you have such a workflow where you have an idea and you need a front end for this. You should actually have the workflow first. And the workflow should be simple. It should have predefined steps. Okay, so the workflow needs to have input and it needs to have output. That's basically what we can do here. That's the simplest thing that we can work with, right? Because then you can build a front end that can add the input, which you normally would do through sort of a Telegram chat in n8n, or through the existing chat, or through an inbound webhook request or an inbound HTTP, right? And the output is the result, and you just display that on the front end. And that's the power of webhooks, right? So basically, the input and the output, your n8n workflow, the entire thing that will be done here, it will be replaced with the webhook, right? We need a predefined workflow, and that's what we just had, which we showed you earlier. If for a blog creator, the input would be the following. It would be the prompt from the user or the request, the need, what they want. Let's say a blog about the nature in Canada, right? So basically, a customized AI agent blog writer. What we want is the users to be able to write prompts and the blog to be the output. Blog article as output. Okay, so now we have defined that. So what you would need here is the front end. And what is the front end? It's basically the UI. So what's the next steps? The next steps, you go to Lovable. Go to Lovable and prompt the front end. Give the context from the start on how it will work with n8n. Okay, that's what you will do. And so basically, you build a front end, and the front end is basically, as I just showed you guys, the app, right? So here we can see an example of that. Here is the front end. You have to prompt it, and you have to have clearly defined fields. Here I have two fields, a YouTube URL and the number of clips. And then you have the button, which initiates the webhook, right? When you have the webhook on live, the n8n workflow on live, it can listen to requests, and that's what it will do, and it will send the necessary information. And you can even, if you have problems, send the response, check the execution, communicate between a Lovable and n8n, and so the AI will understand what's going on and help you out and troubleshoot. And you can also use ChatGPT. So once you have the front end, right, you can literally just go to n8n, right? I will show you guys now. You initiate the webhook here, which we have. You go there, you get the production URL, and you send it over to Lovable, and you tell it what to do, right? And so that's the first execution, because once you have gotten the data from the front end and from the webhook, you're building an n8n workflow just as if it was a normal n8n workflow. And that's actually super easy. Now, all the middle process is a basic n8n system that I will not go into today, because I assume that if you're watching this video, you already are an n8n builder and you can build n8n workflows. If you can't build n8n workflows yet, go to our school community and learn how to do it, or watch my other videos. But the next thing that we need to define how to do is the last step, which is the input or output that gets sent to Lovable. Now I will explain you how that will work, and we'll show you that in our Supabase log. So here you guys can see my log, right? And what we are seeing here is that this is the event. So basically here we can see everything. It booted here. Webhook function was called, right? It was called by the front end, and now it sends information to n8n. n8n basically processes and initiates the workflow. It gets the information, and what Lovable is doing is it's waiting to get the result, and it needs to identify the same user or the same render ID, or it needs to have the same webhook parameters as in the start to be able to communicate with each other. So I will show you, because the parameters need to be the following. Webhook first needs to be initiated with a get and using respond to webhook node. That means that it will wait for the response from this, which is respond to webhook node, which you can find by doing here webhook, and you can see the respond to webhook node. So when you click it, you will actually not have anything here. That's something I put in because I needed custom information to be sent. And then what is happening there, I will show you, is that actually you will get a double sort of formatted output. Here we can see that the response was sort of like this. What happens here is it's JSON. That's what you see here. It's a JSON file. But here it's actually not JSON. It's already a structured webhook format. So, sometimes, and what I did to troubleshoot why there was an error, I sent the entire thing to Lovable. And I said, this is what you will expect to get in return. And because it failed on the front end, but when it succeeded on this n8n here. So when I sent that, it understood how to handle this data and what to do. So that's basically the most important thing. It's the first webhook node and the second webhook node. And you can basically define and ensure that absolutely any n8n workflow you have can be called on a front end and receive a response, right? Now, guys, if you like the idea of Lovable and n8n, I will definitely be exploring that more in my YouTube channel. This video was not intended to be a tutorial of the app I made, because that app is live and actually can be used by you guys. If you need viral video clips, you can use the app. I will have the link in the bio. I want to inform you guys how you can pull your workflows and use Lovable with is you have to define the parameters inside Lovable. You have to give the webhook production URL to Lovable so it understands and can communicate with your n8n backend workflow. And you have to prompt Lovable until you ensure that the data and the processes are correct. Now, if you have been troubleshooting n8n workflows, this is basically the same. There's just a bit more complexity when it comes to building a front end, but you will definitely make it work. So what are the potentials? Well, the potentials here are massive, because now you can actually monetize on your n8n workflows in ways you have never done before. Because before, you had to sell n8n workflows by either integrating them. Yeah, you had to integrate them on the person or company's backend. In a way, you had to say, hey, I'm gonna build an n8n workflow. It will be on my n8n dashboard or yours, but I will integrate that with your systems. We will build it together, blah, 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 blah. And you had to sort of reintegrate a new workflow for them. But this is not how this works. With the n8n X Lovable Duo, you can now have a new business model that scales because you can build a front end that can be accessed by everyone. And these types of n8n apps have the potential to scale much more than just integrating one step at a time system. Yes, you may not be able to charge as much, but you are building for a sort of retail audience. You are building for and you're much able to get customers, and you can, so this is an opportunity that not every n8n builder has been exploring again, building front ends and sort of seeking to scale that. Now, even more so, the opportunities here for you is where you can take existing tools that have APIs, that have clear sort of system architecture, and just build with that. Now, what do I mean here? Perplexity. If you guys know Perplexity, that's a research sort of OpenAI LLM. It has access to the internet. And you can actually build, for example, your app that uses the Perplexity API that's super cheap, and you can build a custom niche app. For example, you can have a predefined prompts in regards to, and also data with a RAG model, because it has access to the internet with predefined prompts and predefined links to use. Now you have a sort of a cool tool that people may want to use. So I'm just giving you guys ideas on how you can approach this. The opportunities are endless. I'm looking forward to see what you and myself gonna build with both n8n and Lovable. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next one.